Hey, Keith, talk to me about Chris Bowen and this thought today that he's got so much pressure from industry, plenty of pressure from the opposition too, about these very controversial vehicle emission standards, that it's going to skyrocket the cost of utes and pickup trucks and SUVs in Australia, that he's considering backing down. I mean, I think it's a massive own goal, but do you think he will back down?
Peter, if we're counting own goals by Chris Bowen, he's in triple figures. It's got to be 100 plus to none. He is the greatest frontbencher for the coalition that I know of. And he's got a PB, no doubt about it. But look, I think he'll go out and play the game. He'll continue, shaking hands and doing what he thinks right with the Motor Traders Association, for example. But he won't make any changes. They are committed to this. And the worst part of all of it is when you change models or you have a big impact change like this, it takes a lot of planning. You need literally years' worth of parts, and you need training, and you need all the things that get rolled out across all the dealerships across the country. It costs an absolute fortune, and you actually need to have some structure and time in front of it to be successful. Now, there's none of that. We know it's going to push up the price of the most popular cars in Australia, and guess who's going to pay for it? All of your viewers, particularly the ones in regional Australia, because there is nothing else out of this other than higher costs. And I saw stories on other media outlets last night, Peter, talking this up about how they're going to save a fortune in power, in I've got that wrong, I'm stuck on electricity, on fuel prices. It's just not going to happen. We can't produce it in Australia. Chris Bowen won't roll over. He'll just deliver what he said he would.
Yeah. Gary, what did you think of Moomba being cancelled today in Melbourne? The parade's gone because we're in this cataclysmic, catastrophic climate weather. I don't think we got to 38. It was probably about 36 in Melbourne. A lot hotter in my day growing up in the Mallee. But, I mean, we've gone soft, haven't we?
And also we're looking for catastrophes, every time. I've seen a lot of young journos, and there's some great people who work here at Sky and other places that I've worked, and I've just said, don't call it unprecedented. Just because you've never seen it before doesn't mean it hasn't happened before. Brisbane's just had this really wet summer after predicting a dry summer. Well, guess what? The summer we've had in Brisbane, for instance, is exactly the same summer we had 50 years ago when I was a kid growing up here. You could almost set your watch by it. So Melbourne's always had hot weather, and it always lingers into autumn. And, of course, come Easter, it'll go cold, and then it'll probably snow, and then there'll be another catastrophe. I think people have
That's
gone
just in one
soft.
day.
Get out there and enjoy Moomba. Yeah, that's right. That's one afternoon, and then the football starts. It's going to be bad weather somewhere along the way. It's hot, it's dry, it's wet. We've had all of that in Brisbane today. It's been very Melbourne, actually.
I can't even chip you for that comment about 4 seasons in one day, because if you live in Melbourne, it's absolutely on the money. Gents, I'll see you both next week. Thank you, as always.